Mhm.
Hello, my name is Dina Ramaha, licensed clinical therapist and behavioral health specialist. I am here with Katelyn, 16-year-old sophomore. I asked Katelyn to join me today in having a discussion about something that I thought was really important in my private practice where I have a counseling center. Things have really shifted and changed since we started the shelter in place. And one of the things that I thought was so fascinating and really eye-opening, very telling about our community, about our society, and about the way we educate our children is that a lot of anxiety levels have gone down for people. And that's across the board from all ages, from young kids that I work with to adults, that everyday expectations and the moving around and so many different aspects of life, people now don't have any of those that are putting so much pressure, and anxiety levels have gone down. So I thought the opposite would happen, that anxiety levels would go up. So I've been really shockingly surprised to see it's been the opposite. So Katelyn, you and I had this amazing conversation a few days ago about why we thought this was, and you were actually one of the people that I had a conversation with, that your anxiety levels had changed pretty significantly, and we had all kinds of ideas about why this might have changed. So I asked you to join me in having a conversation in hopes of helping other families and other teens to be able to do the same thing if they haven't already gotten there.
Mhm.
So thank you for joining me today.
Of course.
So if you could tell everyone, what was life like for you before shelter in place came, struggling with the different things in your everyday life, what life was like for you.
Well, for me, I felt like life was more of a competition with my peers because that's kind of the environment that Doherty brings. Is you kind of feel worthless if you don't get a good test score. And so I felt like I had to prove myself. And that just caused a lot of anxiety towards me because like I was taking so many classes, I was doing so many extracurriculars just to feel like I fit in. But then at home I would be like not sleeping and everything. And I like at first you think you can like overtake everything. You think you're so powerful, and then you really come to do it. And when you feel like you're getting weak and everything, it really tears your worth down as a person, or makes it feel like you're not worth as much because you can't keep up with everyone around you, and everyone around your school makes it seem like such a bad thing to get a B, not do much that many extracurriculars. So I feel like I was just mostly peer pressured into doing something or doing a lot of things that I couldn't handle. And that caused me to just have a lot of anxiety. It built up a lot of, pressure.
Yeah. And a lot of those things you love doing, right? Of the extracurricular stuff, you love sports, but it was always, it seemed like if you had free time, you felt like you had to fill in that space, that you
Yeah.
had, oh, well, why am I doing nothing? Maybe I should be doing something else. This will
Yeah.
look great on my resume. This will look great on my school transcripts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me how things have shifted, right? So, by the forces of nature, totally out of your hands, you've been forced to slow down and just really be able to focus on self-care. And so how has life changed?
I mean, at first, when it first happened, I was like absolutely devastated. I felt like everything was taken away from me. And I was like, how can I prove myself to people if I'm just stuck at home? I felt like I couldn't do anything. But I realized that with all the free time I had, I was able to build myself up as a person and kind of like rediscover who I am. And so I realized that like I don't need other people's approval, or I don't need people to tell me I'm amazing in order to feel like I'm worth it. I came to realize that life is so beautiful, and I'm so fortunate to be living in a home with a roof and to have food, and just like giving care to myself made me feel so worthy to my own self. Like I felt beautiful for once. I felt like I was worth it. I think that this whole quarantine situation kind of happened at a good time because like the moment right before this happened, I was like absolutely like I just crashed. Like too much was happening. There was so much going on with like sports and extracurriculars as well as school. So I felt like it was a really good break and I'm taking advantage of that time.
That's amazing. That's beautiful. And I think the thing that you said that I love the most is that you started to love yourself more, and that you had nothing to prove to anyone but you, and reconnecting with yourself. There's a saying that I love: you cannot see your reflection in running water. You can only see your reflection in still water. And so when you're go, go, go all the time, you cannot really connect with yourself and be in touch with yourself. And it sounds like you've really been doing that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And how would you say life has changed as far as relationships? So there's been less time with friends and more time with your parents. And what has shifted for you in that regard?
I was never really that close to my, well, not that close to my parents because I felt like I barely saw them. I would get home at 7 p.m., go straight to dinner, do homework. And so, like, the only time I really saw them was like a 20-minute dinner break. And so I felt like now that I'm forced at home and like stuck with them, it really has given me a chance to like almost get to know them better as a person, which feels so weird to say because like they're my family and I should know them the best out of everyone. But I felt like I was so shut out from everyone that I really didn't truly know my family or like the new things that they had to tell me because I was just never there. And it kind of made me sad that it was that way because I'm like, wow, there's so many things that they did. And so I'm a lot closer with my family, especially my dad, because we barely saw each other and we'd always not be on a good note. And friends wise, it's been really hard because my friends used to reassure me a lot and that's what kept me moving. But like I said before, like now that I have more time for myself and with my family, I've used that to help bring up my worth as a person, not like friends, like words and everything.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I'm glad that you said that, because there are a lot of teens out there who it's been the opposite. Their anxiety levels have actually gone up because there's turmoil at home, and relationships at home were already strenuous. So there was an avoidance of being home or being around parents, and school was kind of the outlet and social situations with friends. What would you say to teens right now who are really struggling with this time, who feel still like something really terrible has happened to them? This is a huge injustice, and haven't really made peace with it yet and are still really anxious. What kind of advice would you give to those teens?
First of all, I'm really sorry that like this is happening. I know it's totally unexpected. I mean, at first I was with my parents. I know that some people aren't as fortunate in some places and just like there's a lot of tension between people and family members. And that's how I was before quarantine. And in the beginning, it was that tension was still there. And I was like, "Ugh, I don't even know how I can spend 24 hours with my family every single day." But like as I've gotten to play more games and like I just as you get to know them more as a person and like the more you hang out with each other, the more quality time you have with each other and like really bonding, like talking to each other, but like having it really heartfelt, it really brings you closer to a person. And my advice to you, if you're having a really hard time just with everything being canceled and like you feel like you're not worth anything because you're not doing anything, just know that first of all, you're amazing. And use this time, and I'm serious, this has helped me so much. Like I used to like not take a shower for a week because I just was not motivated, but really just go take a bath for yourself, relax, do anything for yourself, sleep for like 10 hours if you want to, because we honestly have the time to fix ourselves. And I know there's not anyone to reassure you of your worth, but like you can only conquer the world if you have the power to conquer yourself. And so just, you really have to live in the moment and try to make the best of the situation that you're in, and know that things will go back to normal, and kind of take advantage of this time. It's like, wow, we're staying at home. Like, it's like everyone's dream. It's like, oh, I want to stay home from school and be sick. Now we're actually out of school for like the rest of the year. So I guess you can just use this time to really focus on yourself and like tighten your relationships with your parents and your siblings. Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's amazing. That's awesome. I've been encouraging people of all ages to try things that they haven't had the time to do before, because you had mentioned to me that you spend half as much time on schoolwork as you used to. You said, I'm usually done by 12:30, and I have the rest of the day to do stuff that I want to do. And so there's things like masterclass.com, Udemy, Udemy.com. There's a thing called Musician, where you learn to play an instrument online, reading books, educating yourself. There's so many things you can do for yourself that you've always wanted but never had the time to do. And I know that you're doing a lot of these things as well. And that makes a huge difference in our ability to process through this and not make it feel like we're just kind of wasting away doing something for ourselves. So that's really great. So the big question then is, when life moves in a new direction and you are back in the groove and this quarantine is over, what do you think you'll do to make sure to keep as much of this peace and calm that you feel despite life moving forward?
So during this time, I feel like I'm more secure with myself as a person. So when I go back to school and I involve myself in that environment that my school just can't let go of, I will definitely not force myself to be push myself too academically and with sports and other extracurriculars. I will really do everything on my own pace, because everyone's on their own journey. They're going to reach destinations at their own pace, and there's no rush. It's like, if I want to do something, I'm going to do it. So this year I'm taking a class at a community college instead of my high school, because I feel like my high school would just be too stressful, and there's some online classes next to my high school that I can take. And I feel like now that I've done online school during quarantine, I realized that it really saves me a lot of time. And I can just get those credits done and focus on other things that I really enjoy. I think now that I finally I'm leaning towards finding my worth as a person, and now that I've really gotten close, I think that I will use that to not have people's thoughts like push me down, or like just the environment of my school make me feel like I'm worthless or like I'm not doing enough. I'll really just be proud of myself and what I can achieve.
Yeah. And I love that. And I think that's going to start a new way of the way the students talk. I know you attend a very predominant, very competitive high school, above most high
Mhm.
schools. And it is a very supportive, beautiful environment. You always talk about all the good things at your school as well, and all the wonderful things, but it does get fogged up by all the expectations that not even that the parents necessarily have, or the teachers, but that the students put on each other. And this expectation to live up to. And now finding a way, you have found a way to find significance within yourself, and not getting outside significance of grades, or having 10 different activities that you're in, and people asking you these things and comparing themselves to you, that you're very content and at ease and peaceful with, this is who I am as a human being. You be you, I can be me. So I love that. And I'm hoping that it inspires other teens to do the same, from all different backgrounds and different areas. So I really appreciate you taking the time and talking with me today.
Of course.
Yeah. And I have no doubt that you are going to continue to inspire not only yourself, but also the people around you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I hope this is really helpful to everyone. I'm going to post this in hopes that you share this with a teen that you know that's struggling, or some families who have teens in their family that really need some help and support during this time. Thank you so much. Thank you, Katelyn.
Thank you.